Hello guys, excuse me. Hello guys, it's me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to day 2 of this 12 Days of Christmas challenge, where for the month of December, you review one horror film per day into Christmas-related horror movies. So I figured I kicked off the marathon with the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, which if you haven't seen that review yet, then I highly recommend you go check out that review if you haven't seen that review yet. People seem to have really enjoyed that review, so thank you to all the nice comments on that video. And, you know, Jason, Lisa, and the other people who commented on that video, thank you very much for the positive comments. So now that we are on day 2, I figure, you know what, let's do another slasher Christmas movie. And I actually briefly mentioned this movie when I was talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, where I was talking about how this movie was more of a slow burn kind of like movie compared to like Silent Night, Deadly Night, where it was kind of more off the wall, bloody and gory, things like that. This does have some gory bits in it too, but this is more of a slow burn kind of like slasher, but it's a really good one too. Kind of like a mixture of like, you know, the original Black Christmas and, you know, things like that with some blood in here. And of course you can tell by the title that review is going to be on Christmas Evil. Now, Christmas Evil was a film that was released in 1980, directed by Lewis Jackson, who I know hasn't directed a film since this movie, which is too bad. But I think he does, you know, he does a very solid job directing this movie. And basically you have Brandon Maggart, or I think Maggart, Maggert, as your lead, Harry. And you also have you have Jeffrey DeMunn, you know, the legend Jeffrey DeMunn, who I believe plays Harry's brother. You know, Jeffrey DeMunn, you've seen him in The Mist. He was in the original Hitcher. He was in The Green Mile. He's been in a lot of movies, Jeffrey DeMunn. And also, too, in this film as well, you actually have a very, very tiny role by, I think, Patricia Richardson. I think that's the actress's name, who was, you know, Tim Allen's wife on Home Improvement. You see her in the film. You see her face for like a split second, and then you hear her voice, and I'm like, oh, that's Tim Allen's wife from Home Improvement. That's pretty cool. So she has a little small role in this as well. And I mean, basically, you know, the story is, you know, it kind of does have that kind of similar feel of Silent Night, Deadly Night, because like in Silent Night, Deadly Night, you know, it was about, you know, a little kid who witnessed his parents getting killed on Christmas Eve by this robber dressed in a Santa suit, and then many years later he works at a toy store, and then then he puts the Santa suit on to, like, you know, to make the kids sit on Santa's lap because they need someone to fill in for that role for that day, and then he goes crazy when he puts the suit on, things like that. In this one, you have the character of Harry Stanley, played by Brandon Maggart, who is basically obsessed with Christmas, and he is a guy who, when he was a kid, he found out the truth. I mean, you know, the real truth about Santa. You know, when he was a kid, he heard that Santa wasn't real. So then, many years later, you have Harry working at a toy factory, and basically he wants to make his own list of who's naughty and who's nice. So he dresses up in a Santa suit, and then basically he's spying on kids, and he makes his own list of who's naughty and who's nice. And basically, whoever the kids that are naughty, he kills their parents and things like that. And that's basically what Christmas Evil is really about. Now, going into the film itself, I think this film was very well done. Because, like I said, it's kind of got like its own mixture of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, where it does have some gore, has some gore in it. But it also has like a slow burn kind of like feel, kind of like a Black Christmas kind of like vibe. Because like I'm saying, this film is really kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, but kind of similar, closely related plots. Because, you know, you have a kid who is, you know, traumatized by something, you know, whether it would be seeing their parents get killed by a robber dressed in a Santa suit, or as a kid being traumatized about how saying that Santa wasn't real, and then many years later they're dressed up in Santa suits, and then they start killing people, things like that. So you kind of have like similar plots. But this is kind of like more of like, I can see this more of like a mixture of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night mixed with a little bit of the original Black Christmas, because it does have some gore moments in here as well. But it also has that feel of a slow burn kind of like movie, kind of like Black Christmas. But I think it's done really, really well. I think it's directed very well by Lewis Jackson. He also wrote the film as well. This actually is the original director's cut, which is the way to go. I really do enjoy the director's cut. And on top of that, too, this movie has probably one of the most unique endings to a movie. And I'm not going to say what the ending is, but for anybody who's seen this movie, you know how the way the movie ends. And like I said, it's one of the most unique endings I think I've ever seen. It's kind of an interesting ending. And like I said before, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen the film, then you definitely know what I mean by the ending. I think it's just a really interesting ending, and it's a really, really weird way to end the movie. But I think it's a lot of fun, though, at the same time, the way it ends. But I think this film works really, really well in a lot of aspects, you know. It's also under another title called You Better Watch Out, which is the alternate title for this movie. But this film is done really, really well. I think the actors do a great job. You know, Brandon Maggart as Harry, I think he does a great job. Jeffrey DeMunn, you know, Jeffrey DeMunn's always good. You know, I'm a big fan of Jeffrey DeMunn. It's got some nice gore. It's directed very well by Lewis Jackson. It was also written by Lewis Jackson as well. I love the ending because of just how unique it is. A very unique ending. And overall, too, I mean, Christmas Evil is just one of those more underrated Christmas slasher films. And I think it's a really good one, so I highly recommend you check out Christmas Evil if you haven't got a chance to see it. But, that's pretty much it for my review for Christmas Evil, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright, guys, take care.